Cody Rhodes did a media call this week to promote All In. And when he was asked about possible future All In events, he answered like this. This was his response. He says, a lot has happened in the last few weeks. A lot of discussions about the future. One thing that is special about this, and I have to be rather cagey in answering, one thing that's special about this group we have is that we have verbally committed to each other. And I don't know what that's ever been done in the history of professional wrestling, where I have verbally committed to the Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page. There's this verbal commitment that the next step we take, because it's no secret our contracts are all up, what happens next? The next step we take, we're going to take it together, and we're going to take it as a family. It could be the dumbest move ever. Wrestling is sort of a shady business, or we can do what my gut tells me, which is the right call. So he's being very vague in that response there. I thought that was a very interesting way for him to answer that question. Poor Marty Scurll, by the way. He mentions Hangman Page and not Marty Scurll. I guess Marty's contract isn't up with theirs then. I guess that's the only takeaway I have from that. But Cody and the Bucks deals are supposedly up at the end of this year, and Kenny Omega's deal with New Japan is up on January 31st. And this is a tough one. You know, the best decision for them, obviously, to make is the one that's going to make the most business sense, right? The Bucks have been pretty open about talking about they have to do what's right for their family. They have kids. They've been kind of running their own thing on the indies and selling their own merch and, you know, DIY now for their entire career. And at some point, it may be time for them to take the money and run. WWE can afford to pay these guys more than anybody else probably will. You know, just because Sinclair Broadcasting owns Ring of Honor and Sinclair has more money than friggin' God, doesn't mean that Ring of Honor's budget is as big as WWE's budget, right? So even Ring of Honor, New Japan, none of them can afford to, in a bidding war, pay as much as WWE is going to be able to get these guys. That's just the fact. And I do think it would be cool to see all of them come in together, maybe even as some sort of invading faction if WWE actually knew how to do these things, and I don't trust that they do, just based on their track record. It would be cool, though, if they did all come in at once, right? But again, WWE, very hit or miss with these things. You can drop a bar of gold in their lap, and they won't even realize it. They'll think you dropped some copper or zinc or something, right? I mean, they just don't always take advantage of these things. Me personally, I would rather that they all stick together and just do another year with Ring of Honor and New Japan. I really would. I mean, they deserve, the Bucks and Omega, that is, and all of them, they really deserve to be part of that Madison Square Garden show in April. To me, it just would not feel right for them to not be part of that show. And also, just selfishly, I said this before, I want Kenny Omega and Kenta Ibushi. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. I just merged two different wrestlers together. What a wrestler, though, Kenta Ibushi would be. If you fuse the two of them together, Kenta Kobashi and Kota Ibushi. I just picture in my head now Kenta Kobashi doing all of the crazy flips and dives that Kota Ibushi does. That's kind of scary. But I want Omega against Ibushi in a perfect world for that IWGP Championship as one of the main events, if not the main event of that MSG show. I don't know if it's going to happen. Omega could very easily drop the belt before then, especially if his contract is up. But that's the match that I want. Now, they could give their contracts could expire and they could give a verbal commitment or sign maybe like a short-term extension if they really wanted to, and they could stick around long enough just to be on that MSG show. And then they can go to WWE. That could happen too. But the thing is, like, Cody, I don't see Cody wanting to go back to WWE. Not right now. Maybe eventually. I just don't see, I could see the Bucks going. I could see Omega going, because it's like, we've done all that we can do in Ring of Honor and New Japan, and it's time to work with a whole new batch of people and make that money. Like, I could see that. But Cody, and I haven't talked to him, so I don't know this. I don't know what's going through his mind, but I don't get the sense when I hear him talk and do interviews that he is anxious at all to go back to WWE right now. So, and I would hate to see some go and not others and break the whole thing up. They have their independence, kind of. I mean, I guess they do have contracts. But they have a hell of a lot more independence to do what they want than they would if they were in WWE. Being the elite is one of the more entertaining things, I think, in wrestling today. You remember what happened when WWE took control of Zack Ryder's YouTube show? What happened to it? It fucking died. That's what happened. Can you imagine WWE taking over, being the elite? That show would die a death. But, it's easy to think about. Well, what if? What if they went there? You got Bullet Club and The Shield, Bullet Club and New Day. Even if they can't call themselves that, I'm just saying Bullet Club. And it's all very appealing. I think they would do big business with those programs. But I'd like to see them hold out a little bit longer. My gut tells me that's what they're going to do. That they're not all going to make the jump to WWE. They're going to just stick where they are. Or, look, maybe Cody starts his own promotion. I was talking to someone the other day who thought there was a very distinct possibility that might happen. And if this next event here coming up next weekend is well received and it's not a complete cluster and it goes off, totally well, it could very well happen. I could see maybe they get the itch to want to start their own promotion, but there's a lot of headaches involved in running your own promotion. Do he and those guys want to do that? Do they want to run a business like that and all the garbage and crap that comes along with it while at the same time they have their in-ring careers to worry about? I don't know. I don't know that they want to do that, but my gut tells me that if they do all stick to this little verbal pact that they have, it ain't gonna be in WWE.